delving into things every now and again. So if you've got a good origin story, I would love to hear from you. Let's have a chat with someone who has a positive mindset. These troubled times, maybe people feeling a tiny bit more anxious than they would do normally. She has joined us on Tuesday Takeovers in the past years. Katrina Love from Happy People. Good evening, Katrina.
Good evening to you. How are you?
I'm very, very good. How are you doing? Are you in lockdown with lots of people? Are you on your own? How's it been this week?
Well, I'm in lockdown. I'm pretty much like everybody else. I am fine. I am well. I have just one person nearby, which is great. But for me, I am quite positive. I'm still working. I'm working with video call, but I'm getting a lot of people, a lot of clients and coaches who are incredibly stressed. And at any time I have gone out, I've noticed a very, very different vibe going on like everybody else has.
You can kind of feel it in the air, can't you? Even though you're not getting close to people, there is, how people are behaving. No one's really looking at each other. It is strange. Although, kind of if you go to the supermarket, there's that vibe. In the park, I went for a run this morning, as is the advice, and kept my distance. But other people going for exercise actually did want to put their heads up and say hi from a distance. So there is, I don't know, maybe different. Maybe runners are more friendly, but that's. It's certainly funny times.
Well, I think I've noticed when, for example, I go to the supermarket, you can literally taste the fear, I think.
So, how can you help people through that? Because in a sense, there is lots of things to worry about. It's not like it's an illegitimate concern.
No, absolutely. Well, the first thing I'd like to say to your audience is it's totally okay to be afraid at the moment because it's scary times and we don't know what is going to happen. As humans, it's just a time where we're going to feel afraid, and you're not going crazy. We don't know what's happening, but there are certain things that you can do, and if it's all right with you, I'd like to talk about some of them.
Yeah, what so what kind of tips and a process to get your mindset right?
Totally. Well, here's just a few. The first one I'm going to talk about, obviously being a happy person here, I will talk about food, the kind of food we're eating. At the moment, I know we all feel like eating a lot of comfort food. For example, I'm drinking endless cups of tea, but normally I'm very much a coffee person. But at the moment, I've almost got like tea on tap permanently because that's my go-to and comfort. And I know we do want a lot of comfort food and quite heavy food or maybe sugary food. But I'd like to say to you, be aware of what you're eating. Be aware of trying to eat food with the most nutritious content that you can. Keep it going with the fresh vegetables and fruit and a lot of protein. Again, nuts. If you're eating meat, go for meat and fish. And cook. Use this moment to create something. Cook from scratch and try and feed your body and calm yourself. Because when we're stressed, the stress uses up a lot of the vitamins and nutrients that might go in our body. So feed your body. Give it the most chance. And also, while we're cooking, we're actually finishing something. We're creating, starting, and finishing a process. And at the moment, what's causing a lot of anxiety is everything's left open. There's no finish. So, if you go for things that you can finish, and cooking is one of them.
So That's really interesting because actually in the supermarkets the fresh veg is the thing that's been plentiful. It's the kind of stock up items that have been in short supply. So actually cooking for the day or for the next few days with fresh food is there. What we've done, partly because I've come out in the evenings to do radio programmes, but we've moved our kind of main meal of the day to lunchtime, which means that we can involve the kids in the cooking process and it's much more of a kind of social round the table activity, which as you say gives a focus and gives a purpose. And you achieve something, then you cook a nice food and then you sit down and eat it together.
Yes, no, absolutely. And achieving and finishing, it's the unfinished business that's going on at the moment, which is causing a lot of us angst. And actually, how lovely to have the family there. And, you know, bizarrely, bringing everyone closer in these times. The next tip I will give you, no surprises here, is exercise. It's what you've been talking about. And any kind of exercise you can do. We are so blessed, aren't we, to have YouTube. You know, you can try doing yoga with the greatest yogis in the world, and Zumba or kickboxing or yoga. You can try all kinds of things, do kitchen dancing. Apparently there are, discos, the virtual discos going on all the time. But moving your body is great because it's releasing a lot of happy hormones, and it's also it gets rid of the fear. Moving your body gets rid of the fear and tension that you're building up. I mean, if you've ever watched those wildlife programs where you see, for example, I don't know, a gazelle being chased by a lion, or even a small dog, hopefully not being chased by a lion, after they've had this terrible, well, hey, anything could happen at the moment, right? But afterwards, the animal will actually shake, and what we do is we shake off the fear and the cortisone and all of this, the adrenaline. So, and the other thing actually we do while we're exercising is we start taking deep breaths. Remembering that when we're in a fear state, we're taking very small, shallow breaths, and we're continuing to tell our body, oh, there's something terrible about to happen, because we're shallow breathing. So when you're dancing and moving about or jogging or even dog walking, you are taking bigger breaths, and this absolutely calms down the body.
Let's pause there, Katrina, because there's more tips to come, and the exercise thing is really, really important. I mean, we started our day, like lots of people, with Joe Wicks doing his PE for, become the nation's PE teacher, which is very, very good. It's 6:45. We're just going to break for a little bit of travel news, so you stay on the line there.
That means a much reduced train service in operation.
Thank you very much for being my agent.
What percentage am I on?
About as much as...
Happy People Solutions, a positive mindset coach, amongst lots of other things. We're just going through, Katrina, some tips for people to manage anxiety and stress. We've talked a bit about food and the importance of having steering away from the kind of junk and comfort food as much as possible, a bit of exercise. What about people who actually live alone, and this has kind of enforced quite a lot of isolation? How can we assist?
Well, there's a couple of things that I'd like to talk about here, and they interlink. So one of them is contact and connection, and I think anyone that's alone at the moment, and the rest of us, we also notice this too. There is the lack of the human interaction. I think what I'm going to be so happy about when all this is over is, going to see my friends and being able to give them a hug, and all of this. It's the actual physical contact, connection, and touch. However, we can still connect with people. Telephone, WhatsApp, video calling, Skyping. We need to do this. We need to reach out to the community around us, the people that we actually know as well. Check in with people that are alone, because it's a lonely time to feel isolated and scared. Reach out to the people around you that and then reach out further. Check in with the neighbours. There are some fantastic groups. I mean, this is really bringing out the loveliest in some people. There's a fabulous one in Ipswich. What is it? The Ipswich Anti-Toilet Roll Brigade?
The Anti-Loo Roll Brigade, yes.
That's it. It's absolutely brilliant. There are hundreds of people on there helping each other, offers of help. The local communities, they've got their own little thing going on as well. Just reach out to whoever's out there. We all need this connection.
And I guess kind of linked to that is for people who are wanting to receive that help to maybe be bold in asking, because people, quite naturally, you say, I'm fine, don't you? Someone comes around and says, are you okay? Yes, I'm fine. And you might be kind of health-wise, and it might be that you've got enough stuff in, but you just want to chat. And actually, unless you ask, it would be very easy for that help to go on to the next house and the next house. So if you do want help, you have to be brave and bold and ask for it and accept it when it's there, which might be a challenge for some people.
Yes, absolutely. But also remembering, that I could sit at home in the evening and, feel lonely. But I could also pick up a phone and call other people and check that they're okay. So another thing that links with this is acts of kindness, conscious and deliberate acts of kindness. And yes, I'm aware you might be talking about, perhaps some older people that actually use only the telephone and not perhaps so linked up with technology. And it is hard, but call grandma, call the next door neighbor. Acts of kindness are an incredibly important thing for us to do, because it actually fills us with, again, happy hormones. It makes us feel good. To do good things makes us feel good. And at the moment, there are so many people that want to do good things. And I think we at the moment have the opportunity to allow that hero inside of us to come out. Be kind, be kind, be kind.
And that's illustrated by the number of people signing up to be an NHS volunteer responder. I mean, we heard some people on the programme yesterday who, within minutes of that being kind of announced, had signed up and well exceeding the 250,000 expectations from the government. So people, do really want to help, don't they? And it's finding a way to do that.
Oh, totally, absolutely. Well, look at what your skill set is. What is your skill set? Perhaps you will be calling people, or I'm not sure if we're able to do it. But when you do nip to the shop, you might be nipping, and grabbing a few things for your neighbour as well. But look at what skill set you have that might be useful. For example, my work colleague Natasha Hodge, who is a nutritional advisor, and every Monday we're doing free Zoom meetings on the best nutrition you can have and tips how to be happy. Put little clips and tips. I was on Facebook, and one of the people that I followed, just a local hairdresser, they actually put on there how to cut a fringe. I mean, how very useful.
I was going to say, this has come. I've got clippers at home. I can do a grade 2 on the sides and a 3 on top. That's my skill set. So if anyone needs that, not for everyone's taste. And a final thought, Katrina. That's been really, really interesting to hear you and speak with you this evening. A final thought for people to go away with this evening.
I would like to say flow time. Flow time is to make sure that you're also doing as many things as you can that make you happy. This evening, after you've had dinner, you can literally do a virtual tour of the Louvre or the Tate Gallery or the Taj Mahal. Whatever it is, you can learn a different language. You can learn how to salsa. You can learn how to cook. There's so many different things that you can do. Find what your hobby is, find what makes you laugh and joyful, and also enjoy this time. Look for the happy moments, try and be grateful as well. We can't be fearful and grateful. So look for the good things that are going on as well, and try and do things that make you happy in your own space.
Katrina Love, thank you very, very much for your time this evening. All the best. Katrina Love from Happy People Solutions, with some great tips there on how to stay positive during what's going on at the moment.